In this video, we shall be looking at the let keyword, the nuances that came with using the var keyword, and how let fixes this issue. Hey, I'm Kelvin, a software developer based in Nairobi, Kenya, and my goal is to simplify technical documentations for you so that you may have an understanding of the tools that you're using. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment below. You can find all the links mentioned in this video in the description section of this video. Let us jump right in. One of the major differences between var and let is in terms of scoping. We do know that var is function scoped, while let is block scoped. In JavaScript, a block of code is denoted by curly braces. In this example, I have defined a function called numbers, and in it declared a variable called a and initialized it with a value of 20. I have a condition or a block of code where I redeclare the same variable a and initialize it with a value of 20. Let us run this example and see the results. When using the var keyword, we get the same results printed. That is at line 5 and at line 8. And the reason for that is var is function scoped. So any declaration will be hoisted to the top of the function, and the last value will override all preceding values. Let us change this to let. As you can see, the value of 20 and 10 is printed. That is 20 for line 5 and 10 for line 8. And the reason for that is let is block scoped, meaning that the scope of the first declaration does not interfere with the scope of this second declaration. To also prove this further, let us convert this back to var and comment out line 2. You can see that the variable of a, as much as it is in a block of code or in a different scope, it is hoisted to the top of the function and can be accessed outside the block of code. That is why the value of 20 is being printed on the screen. Let us take a look at the second example, the relationship between var, let, and the global object. In this case, we shall be using the window object of the browser. I will declare a variable called a and initialize it with a value of 10. Then print out the results and see whether the variable is attached to the window object. In the case of var, we can clearly see that a gets attached to the window object. But when we change this to let, we get undefined. And the reason why attaching variables to the window object is dangerous is the values can be overridden with other external libraries, which can cause a problem in your code. Let us look at another example where we shall be using callback functions in a for loop. So I have declared a simple for loop. I have the variable of I and initialized it with the value of 0. Then I have a condition. If I is less than 5, run the loop, then increment the value of I until the condition fails. And as we can see clearly, the results that get printed is 5 for every iteration. But when we change the var to let, we can see that the value of 0 to 4 gets printed on the screen. And the reason for that is the last value in var overrides all the values. Before ES6, the main method to fix this issue was to use immediately invoked function, or other people would refer to it as self-executing function. Let us wrap this in a self-executing function to solve this issue. So instead of I, we pass in j, then we can pass in I. And we can see that we get the correct results. And this boils down to the idea that we discussed in the first example, where var is function scoped. So an immediately invoked function forces scoping, and hence we get the right results. Let us take a look at the last example. When working with var, we can redeclare a variable without any issue. Let's say I have a variable of a and initialize it with a value of 10. Then redeclare it and run the example. We can see that we don't get any error. Maybe let me console log the results. And as you can see, we get the value of 10 printed on the screen, and there is no issue. But when we change this to let, you can see immediately that we get a syntax error. Identifier A has already been declared. So in other words, you cannot redeclare a variable using let within the same scope. So if we declare the variable of A in a different scope, that is perfectly fine. But within the same scope, it will throw a syntax error. What if we have let and var declared within the same scope? You will notice that we are also getting the same error, which means you cannot mix let and var declaration in the same scope. If you have found value in this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. You can also find a link to my notes in the description section of this video. Thank you, and see you in the next one.